Right, we are back. And as the title suggests, we are talking about another 5-year landmark. As you can tell, 2016 was a pretty ridiculous year, wasn't it? It was a pretty mad year for music. Probably one of the best years that ever existed hip hop. Or probably definitely this century, I'm not gonna lie. So but I think what's unique about this one, I think this might be our first ever mixtape review. So I know a lot of people might think, I don't know how many people know that Telefone is actually a mixtape, but it is a mixtape. It is a mixtape. So this is our first mixtape review, and normally I would just kind of leave mixtapes as mixtapes. I think usually it's like, okay, yeah, it is what it is. But I feel like this one has a lot of significance because it's not a mixtape because it's like, oh, I'm starting out and I just want to throw a lot of things together. It's because it was for free download, and obviously at the time anything that's free will just kind of be classed as a mixtape.
Yeah.
So that's why it's kind of a mixtape. But I think a lot of people in a very loose sense will see this as Noname's debut record, but it's not. But so we'll take it as such. It's a debut mixtape, Telefone. So it's a 5-year anniversary of such. I don't really know where to start. I mean, obviously, many of you will know Noname. If you don't know Noname from a project, you'll definitely know her for her little tiff on the internet, or her kind of basically asking for fucking socialism to kind of be implemented in our society. But that's a whole different thing. We don't even need to get into.
We love it.
But yeah, it's a 5-year review. I mean, time has flown, man. I mean, it doesn't even feel like this fucking mixtape came out 5 years ago. Where were you when you first heard this, John? That's my first question to you. Were you kind of on it straight away, or was it something you came to quite later?
Weirdly enough, I think I was in second year. I must have been at the end of second year because I heard it quite quickly after it came out. I just saw the single Diddy bop around. I was like, who's this? One of those moments where you're like, oh, okay. So yeah, it was kind of second year I came onto it, and then did the backtracking and found Chance the Rapper through her, I think, because I hadn't really been listening to
the
her.
other way. Damn, okay, keep going.
I think so. 2016. Wait, what year did Colouring Book came out in 2016?
Yeah.
Maybe that was how it happened. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of where I heard it. Second year. Were you already onto her music at this point?
So obviously I heard her through. Obviously I listened to Chance the Rapper since like 2013. So ever since Acid Rap days, and obviously she's been on like pretty much every Chance the Rapper project, minus The Big Day and minus 10 Day. So she was on Acid Rap. I really liked her verse there. She was on Surf with her and J. Cole back in 2015. The good old days. So I heard her here and there. She also had a song. Again, this is when SoundCloud. There's a lot of good songs on SoundCloud. She had a song called "Sparring Israel" with Chance the Rapper, and they're just like going back and forth trading bars. Such a nice song. So I heard her here and there. But I think that's when I first heard of her. I mean, I think again more recently, probably like when I say recent, I mean like 2018, 2019. Yeah. I heard her on Mick Jenkins' The Waters, where she actually references Telefone, which like Telephone's never coming out. You know, where I was like, damn, how long has this been hyped for? And then that's when I realized, shit, this thing's been hyped up since 2012. Fucking hell, like that is mad. That is actually mad. We'll have to talk about that after. So, but yeah, my first introduction was 2013. But I think at the time I wasn't thinking, oh wow, I need a project from her. I just thought, oh, she's cool. Like if she does drop something, maybe I'll give it a touch. But yeah, so I think again, when it came to Telefone, I think I kind of got into it pretty much straight away because I've always been interested to see what she'd be like on the project. Yeah. And you kind of mentioned a few of the songs already that we kind of heard her on early on. So Lost, obviously. I will say this is when I started making like a playlist of all my favorite like hip hop samples. This is one of them. Oh really? Okay.
Yeah, it's a sample from Willie Hutch. It's a song called "Brother's Gonna Work It Out," and the instrumental on this is mad. It's so nice. It's that like flute and the guitar loop as well. The like do 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 do. So good. Recommend the original song as well. But great verses from Noname on this. She's kind of talking about that, the classic disorientation of like that in between a phase of life, talking about like the psychiatrist and then, drugs and all of the rest of it. So yeah, great song.
Yeah, very banger. And she also has another song. Like I feel like a lot of the songs she dropped prior to Telefone. There's a song called Cherry Pie Blues. Absolute banger. Holy fuck, that song's so good. Like, yeah, I think that I get why the project was anticipated, because like she definitely had talent. Like she definitely had talent. But I think it was a thing where I think it was hard for her to disassociate herself from Chance the Rapper, because everywhere you saw Chance, you saw Noname. Yeah. So it was like, okay, yeah, like I kind of thought it's kind of like for example, Frank Ocean and Jay-Z. Like Frank Ocean's on every Jay-Z project these days, so you kind of go into a Jay-Z project thinking, yeah, we're gonna get a Frank Ocean feature. That's kind of how I saw Chance and Noname. They're just always together. So yeah, so I don't think I took to her songs. I just thought, oh yeah, I get enough of her through features.
Yeah, and then moving on, so we had The Water, Mick Jenkins, and the song, was it Comfortable?
Yeah. We're just talking about Telefone never coming out. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy Lost, but I think she flows so well on this song. You know,
you think? Okay, cool.
Yeah,
okay.
No, I do. I think it's the speed that she raps at, and I think this is something that maybe because of the last few years and the type of music she's been releasing recently, people forget. Yeah. Like the flows that she has and how well she can just rap, like straight up rap. So yeah. Yeah, there's that line, isn't it? She's like, no name on the come up, Telefone never coming out. What's the hold up? Where you been at? Where the printer?
Yeah. And that was 2 years after it was hyped up. I mean, apparently nothing came after that. Like, no words came after that. No singles, nothing. Like, damn. Yeah. I'd hate to be a No-Name fan after that, mate. But, yeah, I mean, then I fucked around and became a No-Name fan in 2021. So, here you go. But,
people were calling her the, like, was it Chicago's J Electronica?
Yes.
Like, it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
She's been blue balling us all this time.
No, you know what it is? The reason why I said like really on the comfortable verse, I really like that song. But I think a lot of people, and this is even the same with Acid Rap as well, I think a lot of people said like, because she had quite a lisp when she was like younger, I think a lot of people kind of judged her for that. So like, yeah, she's talking fast, but because she has the lisp, it feels like a lot of her words are like crashing into one another. I never saw it like that too much, but I get why the lisp might get in the way of her rapping. But no, I fully get you. I think when it comes to Noname, especially with Telefone, we'll get to after, I think people I think her rapping ability, just pure rapping ability, is so overlooked. Like even to this day, like you see on like Instagram, like she is like no joke, like she is like one of those like, oh my gosh, artists of the decade type talents. No joke. That's literally how I feel about it. So and I think it was clear from then, but I think it took, I don't know why. I think again, I feel like with Chicago, it was just Chance the Rapper. And I don't think anyone was gonna say anything other than that for a long time. So I'm glad we got out of that eventually. But yeah, I think it was just hard especially, and it wasn't just her, Saba as well. Like it took a while for him to get going as well, because I think it's just always just like, oh yeah, the Chance Rapper and it's everyone else. So yeah, but I mean, yeah, she got there eventually. She
did, yeah. But yeah, on the Mick Jenkins song, I don't know why, but she sounds so much younger, because you know that on Telefone a lot of the songs were actually recorded like years prior. But yeah, I don't know. Did you notice that listening?
Kind of opposite. So some of them, like some songs that All I Need were recorded years prior, but some of the songs on Telefone were recorded like last.
Did I say all, or did I say some?
No, but you said a lot of them. But yeah, a couple of them were.
Sorry, yeah.
I think we'll talk about it as well on Telefone, but you can clear which songs are more recent. But yeah, no, she definitely does sound younger. Definitely sounds younger. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Wild. And then Donnie and the Trumpets. Let's talk about that before we move on. That album, I didn't really care for that album, but this song I did. I liked this song that they were on. Yeah.
Yeah, and she kind of cleared out prime J. Cole. That is not, we shit on J. Cole, but that is not easy. Like, J.
And
Cole
he wasn't rapping badly on it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, what I think it was when I heard this, I was like, okay, no, I need a No-Name project, mate, because even Chance had a good verse as well, but No-Name just came out of nowhere with that one. Like, her ability to talk about love, like, is quite profound. Like, she takes a very unique perspective rather than this, oh, things are fucking up, and she doesn't take that approach to it at all. Like, and this, just check out the verse in it. There's no point dissecting it, but yeah, fucking hell, mate. Like, really, really good shit.
Because there's some corny stuff on that album from Chance, but that's good.
But you don't like Sunday Candy, so I don't know about
I don't.
I do. Yeah, I think that song's a banger. So, and I'm sorry. I get you though. But anyways, it's not. We haven't talked about Chance yet. That's the whole point of this. I think that's literally the whole point of Telefone, isn't it? So let's move on. Let's move
on. Cover art, is it worth mentioning that? Because I think
100%.
Yeah,
keep going.
Very like Frida Kahlo-esque, people have said.
I don't know why painters in it, but I was gonna say my question to you actually was, what do you think? Because this is one thing I don't even think to this day a lot of people give this cover art a lot of focus. It is quite striking because literally it's like this like young black girl who seems like she's going to church and there's like a skull on her head and she's holding flowers. But I don't think a lot of people go into what it actually means. Like, what does cover art actually mean? And again, it's not the music, but like I always say, a good cover art does kind of give you a vibe of what the album's going to sound like, what the mood of the album is. So I think it's quite interesting to talk about this one. Like, yeah, what do you think this like cover art represents?
Well, I mean, like death and violence is like very key to a lot of the songs on the album. So I think that kind of like realization that death is like never far away, I guess, is pretty obvious from the picture there. Like, I mean, the rest of the imagery is like pretty like rosy. I mean, there's like, that wasn't even a terrible pun, I didn't mean that, but just like flowers and like the idea of going to church, but then, you know, at any point during the day death could, you know, come to you. So I guess I kind of took that from it. Yourself?
Synergy on the heart. Like, that's almost word for word what I was thinking. Fucking hell. That's literally.
And we didn't rehearse this.
Yeah. No, yeah. What else to add? No, I think exactly the same. I feel like it's like death is always on her mind type of thing. I think the fact that skulls literally rest on the girl's head as well. Yeah. Also, the cover art seems really like warm and inviting, which Telefone sounds like. But then again, there's always that little undertones of death, always just there, always there. And I think that's the same with the cover art. And the fact that she's holding the roses, like, is she going to a funeral or is she going to church? Like, you don't really know. Yeah, that's definitely what I get from it. And I think the album is kind of split in that way as well. Like, if you kind of look at the track list for Telefone, it feels like the first half before the interlude are all like rosy, more uplifting songs, and then you get to the second half, which is definitely more, you know, morbid for sure. And I think that's where the score kind of comes in to kind of bring that duality for sure. Yeah. And I think the Frida Kahlo thing, I think if people kind of look up, I was deep into a Reddit thread. Alright. like we all are. I get it.
Saw some good comments about that. Because a lot of Frida Kahlo's kind of like those self-portraits are of her in a similar kind of posture with flowers on her head, but obviously this time she's kind of like, if it is intentional, then she's obviously subverted it and she's like, well, actually no, death. So yeah, that's all there is to say about the cover art there. Where do you want to go from here?
We can start anyway. This one, obviously, it's only 10 tracks, but yeah, cool. Okay, where do you want to start, man? I say, okay, so I think, where do I want to start? Because I'm thinking, should we start on the brighter side of the album or the dark side of the album? But I'll start straight off with the Freedom interlude. I'll start off with this one because, again, I think if guys saw the our Instagram story the other day where I said what, you know, I gave a teaser of what album we're going to talk about, which is obviously, or project, which is which one we're talking about now, and I gave that little famous Nina Simone interview when she's talking about freedom. And if you haven't listened to Telefone outside of Spotify, that skit isn't in the actual song. You have to go to SoundCloud to get that part. But that's why the end of Freedom is just pure instrumental. That's where the interview was at. So she's talking about freedom and stuff like that. I think this song, for a long time when I first heard it, I didn't really care for it because it was just like an interlude. But some of the lines here are like just her. Again, I feel like this songs like this, and it's literally. It's like, it literally describes Noname in like 2 minutes. Like, where it's like, she is so understated, but at the same time, it's not like she's lacking anything. Or it's not like her being understated is taken away from the song. So, like, But I think one thing Noname's good at doing as well is freestyling. Like, she does seem like she's a literal poet, and I think her talking about like kind of like finding the meaning of this song, and then just realizing, damn, all I really want to do is kind of overcome the things that are bothering me. I just want to be free. When she's talking about like confusion and perception with a Bill Cosby thing.
Messages in the bottle, disillusion on the guest list.
Oh my god! Like, do you know what I mean? And yeah, then talking about like, I think this is a song about redemption, and then kind of talking about like abortion. And then talking about, I know this is a song for overcoming and stuff like that. We're talking about like, the American dream as well, the struggle, all these things she's struggling with. She says something. Obviously, it's like it's a random line where it's like a virginity and carat gold. And obviously, it's a small detail, but she was 24 when she dropped this album, mixtape, and obviously virginity and carat gold, 24. I was like, all right then, cool. That's just clever, isn't it? That's just clever. But yeah, what do you think of this song? Like, it's probably one of the most understated, like, lo-fi songs on the record.
Yeah,
pretty much.
And I mean, you kind of expect that from an interlude, but then what you don't usually get from interludes is just a 3 minutes full of like bars and ending with like a really powerful interview clip from Nina Simone, where she's kind of like, what is it? She says something to the interviewer like, "You tell me." He's like, "No, you tell me," and then she's just like, "It's just a feeling."
It's just a feeling.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I don't really know how to put it into words. I think you've already said that she's just a poet. So there are so many of these like simple lines that just she just puts so well. I mean, I'm kind of sounding stupid when I'm trying to say she's a poet.
No, I get what you mean.
Muddling over my words, but yeah, it's a great song.
You take us to the next one, lad.
Cool. Where should we go? You kind of mentioned the abortion thing, so let's go to the second half if you're good with that.
Yeah, I'm cool. Yeah, so.
And a couple songs after this, so Bye Bye Baby, which is, man, what I'd say one of the most powerful songs in the album for me anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so this song, like you kind of said already, is about abortion. And I think the thing that struck me is the way the song is structured. So like the first verse is her singing it, and the second song is the baby, and I'm like, damn, wow. And yeah, like they're singing a duet almost, and you know there are just so many lines that you can just like keep going in and analysing. Obviously the refrain is one of the most powerful bits, where she's like, "My baby needs some milk and honey," and obviously if you know me, I love a biblical reference. Milk and honey being like God's promise to Moses and the Israelites, right? Like he was gonna bring them out of this like enslavement and terrible treatment in Egypt, and he was going to take them to a land full of milk and honey. And that was kind of like the promised land, and somewhere where they would be like free of struggle and pain and all the rest of it. And obviously in this first verse where Noname's rapping or singing, she's talking about how there's like a dual side to this abortion. She both is like very clear in her decision, but at the same time there's so much love, and she's doing it because she knows that there's something better, like the play date in heaven and those types of words are like, wow, it's emotional, isn't it, when you listen to this one. But yeah, I'm rambling, go for it.
No, I mean, this song, I think this is why, for me, like, it's one of the most significant projects to drop in 2016.
Yes.
It's because of songs like this, because I've never heard anything like this. And that's kind of similar to a lot of things on Telefone. I don't think I've heard a project like Telefone prior or since. Do you know what I mean? And we can talk about this. Let's get into it now, innit? Fuck it. We ain't even gotta have a structure. This ain't the news. But like, the thing about Noname is that I feel like when you hear the term female rapper, like episode 1, you either think she's gonna go, deep and conscious like Rhapsody, and she's gonna sound like another version of Kendrick, or she's gonna be like Cardi B, and it's like, you know what, I'm just gonna talk about, ignorant shit. And either are fine. but none of them sound like Noname. Noname feels like she took like a completely different route to that, and I don't think we've seen that from a female rapper in a while. Like, don't get me wrong, and there's definitely some out there female rappers like Princess Nokia, for example, of course, but like not like this, like not in terms of production, not in terms of the way they approach certain topics. I've never seen this. So I think songs like this, especially a song like this, I don't think I've ever heard something like this before, and it sounds so obvious. Like, it's like when J. Cole said "died over a cross" just at the start of Christianity. It sounds obvious, but no one's actually ever said that before. It's a good line, so it's like, might as well just take it. But just kind of talking about abortion, and from both perspectives, and basically kind of seeing it as like, damn, I'm gay. Like, she said something like, when she's talking from the baby's perspective, some gets presents before they even ready, or stuff like that. I'm like, fuck it, hell. Like, and just to add up top of all of that, this is when Noname's still a virgin. So it's like, how the fuck, where is this coming from? Like, where is this actually coming from your mind? Like, it's insane. So when I heard this, like, it's so sad, but it's about, I like the songs because it's so good. Like, it is a really good song, but it's like, I can't understand what goes into writing songs like this, especially when you've never experienced something like this. And I think it's so profound, and I think that is a lot of Telefone when you look into it, very profound. So yeah, no, this song is
absolutely,
tragic but good, very tragic but very good, very very good song. I feel
like I want to talk about it more.
like it's really good. And it's so short. It's like less than 2 minutes or something like that. Like, it's a short song, but
There's that line, the line I think I tried to quote earlier, which is so verse 2 where the kind of the baby singing it, and it's like play date up in heaven soon, soon I will see the king, and then there was that one that you said, he reminds me, some give presents before they're even ready. I could see that she loves me, talking about Noname, I know her heart's heavy. Oh man.
Like, it's mad. Like, and I think she said something like, because I will get into producers. Maybe it will take a pit stop at the producers after this. But she said something like, oh, like, I wanted to give a perspective on women, or people who always think that abortion is a bad thing, or abortion is done out of like, oh, I don't want this kid. It's like, no, it's done as like, I love you enough to not probably bring you in an environment that I know I can't kind of raise you in a way I want, or kind of give you the life that you deserve. So I'm actually doing it in a way, and you know, that's a fair perspective. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't say she's wrong for that. So kind of saying the baby's like, the baby's kind of like, it's like she's giving a voice to that unborn child, and be like, you know what, like, I'm not gonna hate you for this. Like, I understand. And I think kind of resolving with that. And she mentions abortion a couple times in this album. Again, for someone who has never, you know, it's like, again, obviously it has to be something that's closely related to someone in her life, of course. But just kind of giving a voice to that is something I've never seen before.
Because there were those like child sounds in a few earlier songs, right? And I think something as well that she just does so well is she doesn't act or like talk beyond her years. Like, there are like lots of very kind of like, not necessarily like childish ways of saying things, but like, she sounds like adolescent in the song, right? Where she's like, in the first one, she's like, I swear he loved me, my tummy almost got ready. And then she's talking about like, was it Biddy Baby Spaghetti and Teddy Bear in the window now? I mean, it could quote the whole song, but
literally quote the whole song. But it's just it again, like, when we talk about her, like, her poetry, like, she's such a good writer. Like, she's such a fucking good writer, and I think I don't know. You can't praise songs like this enough, because it's kind of like she's showing that she can talk about a whole range of things, and even just kind of talking about Noname and talking about like she sounds like a child. I think the whole album does sound very adolescent. And she even said on her Room 25 interview, like, Telefone was PG because I was very PG. And it's like, I kind of get that. Like, obviously she didn't really kind of talk about like her sexuality or virginity at that point. Fair enough. But you can kind of tell, like, but I think the way I see Telefone, and it might be a wild statement, but I really do believe this. I feel like Telefone is like, it's kind of like a good short kind of insight into the black experience. especially in Chicago. Like if I want to know what it was being a black woman in Chicago, I would listen to this. And I feel like I'm right there, and I can see it, and I can see all the great parts, and I can see all the nostalgic things about growing up, and I can see all the bad things as well at the same time. Do you know what I mean? Because it's easy, I think it's easy to forget like this is Chicago, like someone from Northside Chicago. Do you know what I mean? But I think that's what it is. I think she consistently gives you this throughout Telefone, and again, you don't really get many cohesive mixtapes, right? But again, this is what makes it so fucking cohesive from top to bottom. Do you know what I mean? So I think I always say it's a consistent theme throughout the whole project.
Yeah, I think the word I forgot to say that I wrote down was tender. Like, this
very
whole song
tender.
is mad.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you pick the next song to go for.
Okay, cool. Let's go into yesterday. Let's go into intro, right? So she has a line here. I'm just saying this one for fun because I always say it. She has a line where she says, "Check my Twitter page for something holier than black." There,
you love it. You've said this so many times.
And if you go on her page now, and it's anything but, isn't it? It's anything but. So it just breaks my heart. But like, obviously, like, I feel like this is a great intro into what you're about to of expect from this whole record. I'll say again, like, I think Telephone's one of those songs, projects where each song is better than the last. It feels like for me, like it feels like by the time you get to Shadow Man, you're at the best song. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's not a bad thing. Yeah. I'm not saying Yesterday's a bad song, but it feels like it's a nice little soft intro. Like, she's kind of talking about a lot of things. It feels like she's kind of telling you what's on her mind. Like, the death of her grandma and her mentor, Brother Mike, the guy who did the open mics for like all the Chicago rappers. And talking about like who am I, gypsy rap and all that. Yeah, before she had to drop the gypsy moniker for obvious reasons. But I think it's just a nice introduction. Like talking about how she feels. Like the money doesn't make her whole. Fuck clubs that have fucking dress codes and all of that. You kind of just get inside of just who she is. What do you think of the intro?
Yeah. No, I enjoy it. I think I agree with what you're saying. Like, it's not as it's not necessarily as like topic specific. She like dots around with a few different things, doesn't she? Like like you're saying, the death of her grandma means she's now contemplating a lot of these things, like the legacy of her life, like what happened after she dies. What does all this like materialistic stuff really mean? Like real kind of like existential crisis, I guess. Not necessarily a crisis, but like just really considering all of these issues.
For sure.
So good intro. I think, what was it Kamobi was like, when he heard it, he was like, this is the intro.
Yeah, for sure. And also, he's kind of probably the executive producer on this whole thing, right? Pretty much. He is. Him, Saba,
and Felix are the
exec
producers.
Yeah, I think Saba had his hand on a few of them. Shout out to Saba as well.
I think he produced 5 of them.
Bloody hell, man! Like, Saba as a producer, underrated. But underrated. I didn't know that until I was actually looking into this. Because also, I know Saba produces because he produced a lot of Care for Me. But I didn't know he did this much on Telefone. One thing I will say actually about this song as well, because I mean, production on the whole album is like a highlight. But especially on this first song, like, if you just sit back and stop for a second and just try and count all of the different individual instruments and then like put them all back together, and you're like, damn, how are they all working to complement each other so well? And this is something, I mean, they do so well throughout the album. Like, instruments ebb and flow and come in and out, and it's crazy good. No, I think with the best way to describe Noname, right? It's like, you know, when you've got like a basketball player who's like good for one thing, like for example, we might not be like the best mid-range shooter, but he's great at getting steals and he's great at getting assists. But so you just need to work out how to use him within your system. I think that's Noname's voice, right? Because the thing like Noname, she can't be on every type of production. So I feel like you can definitely tell there's so much time put into what Noname actually sounds good on. So much time put into that, and I think that's why every single song she doesn't sound uncomfortable, even if her voice is quiet and monotone as fuck. You never feel like you're missing what she's saying. You never feel like the production as like, even when it gets really luscious, like Reality Check, you never feel like it's dominating her voice. And I think that's the like that just shows massive attention to detail in terms of production. Massive attention.
Yeah, I agree.
For sure. Yeah.
Let's see what to go to next. Let's do Casket Pretty.
Oh yeah. Yeah, all of my niggas. That's it. I can't do it that accent, casket. I'm not gonna do casket in it. Casket. But yeah, no, infectious song, man. Really, like the hook is catchy, but I feel bad for finding it so catchy.
I know, and you're like, oh, the way the trumpets are going is beautiful.
Yeah,
but
it reminds me a lot of the song Prayer Song that she does on Room 25. I feel like she expands on this topic more about like police brutality. When she says ricochet on the chest, you make no harm, collecting your checkmate, I know you're in love with the power and stuff like that, and she talks a lot about that on Prayer Song as well, like, but in a way more detail. Like I think, yeah, super good song, we need to check it out. So I kind of compared these two quite a lot. Yeah, no, such a catchy song, very short song as well. But again, I feel like with Noname, I feel like she's maybe not intentionally, but I feel like she's understood it's obvious that a lot of these things are happening, so she doesn't need to always over explain what's already understood. So she doesn't need to say why, you know, black men are dying. She doesn't need to explain all of that. She just says, like, she kind of talks about how she feels about it. She doesn't need to get into this is happening, they're killing us, because it's kind of like a everyday thing for her. So
yeah, for sure. I think, and the production, considering the song topic is quite interesting. She said that she finds she said she finds melancholy in instruments that people find innately happy. Which kind of, which is why she wrote something like this to the beat that we hear here. But yeah, I mean, there are so many great bits of like imagery and kind of ways of talking about things. She says, what is it? I'm afraid of the dark, blue and white badges and pistols rejoice in the night. She has a lot of like chess imagery as well later on. Was it collecting your checkmate? I know you're in love with the power. Yeah,
it's great. Yeah, just like, don't get me wrong, like, it's not a bad song, again, because I'm thinking of Prayer Song in my head again. But yeah, no, I think when she was saying, like, I'm not saying there isn't a voice given to police officers, because definitely is. Like, to us, no one really gives a fuck. I'm not gonna lie, no one really loves the police like that. No. But it's kind of like there seems like when you said tender, I think this is a song again. Like, it's more just talking about like, yeah, I know this is happening, so I just hope you make it home, mate. Like, do you know what I mean? I just hope, I hope my phone don't ring saying that someone's got you. And I think even though there's a lot of melancholy there, I feel like at the end of it, she's still being like, okay, yeah, like, we're kind of joking about this because what else is there really to do? Like, this is like, it's not like we can stop this, but like, by the same time, okay, let's bring it back to earth. Like, I do hope, nothing happens to you. So I do like that. Like, I'm not saying make light of a bad thing, but it's like, it makes it easier to talk about. When she said another song, was it Aloe Vera? Her song, her bars like Aloe Vera or something like that. What song was it? I might just pivot us to that one right now. Forever, right? The next song, she said something like, nobody understands my songs. Aloe Vera, the sentences to heal the scars of rental cars to Malibu to Shangri-La. So it's like, do you know what I mean? Like, again, just amazing lyricism. But yeah, what did you think of Forever? I thought the way that it kind of started with the awkward piano was really cool. I don't know who thought that. That was pretty cool. She had a lot of lines in that first verse. Yeah, she does. Yeah, when she had them trying to reimagine abracadabra from poverty. Woo! Jesus. Something like already fried a chicken, but leftovers my NFI. Yeah, just funny. Like, this lady, I think she's definitely, and she made a clear intention to do this on Room 25. Like she said, and again, I'm going to compare those two quite a lot because I feel like, again, you can see the progression, but she said she went to a lot of comedy clubs in preparation for that record, and you can tell that she had that comedic nature to her. So I think while she does, you can tell she definitely likes Nina Simone and Lauryn Hill. You can also tell that she's a big fan of artists like Doom as well, and I think stuff like this shows quite a big, yeah, for sure. There's definitely a lot of humor in this one. How we need to calculate how old is Ravyn Lenae when she is singing this? 17.
There we go. Fucking hell. Her voice is incredible. This is something we only realised recently, right? Mm-hmm. That she's only 22 now. Man alive.
Yeah. I mean...
Wild.
You know what's so funny? Her hook was one of the last things that came from the album.
Really?
Yeah. One of the last. Like, I think they were looking... I think she wasn't on the song. And they said, I think she wanted to be part of it. And then Cam Obi said, yeah. I think they both thought, yeah, she'll film forever. And then that hook just came up. Before the song didn't have that hook. Crazy, you know? This Joseph Chilliams guy, I haven't really heard of him outside of this song. But I'm not going to lie, I really like his verse.
That verse is
really
good.
Like his verse.
I looked him up when, kind of like, in preparation for this. I was like, I'm sure this is Monica. He's someone we know. Nope.
No, when he said, when I say that ass is a mouthful, like, chuckily. Bag in line. Yeah, when he says, what's it called? Following bright ideas because I'm a victim to color. That is a bar. That's a fucking bar. Sorry. And he keeps doing that. Like, he has bars. And I think one thing a lot of these people have said, they did like a long ass interview of all the people involved in the album. And a lot of them just have this like mutual respect for Noname. Was like, oh, I'm on Noname's album, so I got to kind of show up. And I think he said someone more famous than him, a lot more famous than him, was meant to do this verse, but he said he sent it anyways, just in case. So he thought, you know what, since it's gonna be Noname's project, I'm gonna really try. And man, that's the thing that surprises me, because yes, Noname obviously has been rapping for a while, but I'm surprised she has so much pedigree amongst her peers this early on too.
Yeah. No, there's so many good bars from this guy. It's like, was there a line about like pheromones? Who says he's like,
pheromones, so I go pheromone, something like that.
And the previous line was like, poems. I know I'm terrible, but I'm focused like a variable. Love it.
Yeah, banger, really good song.
This guy,
really
but yeah, no, the song is good. I mean, it's I guess a lot of like self-belief type of thing. That hook, when she's like, they ain't trying to see me shine. But yeah. So yeah, it's one of the songs where she's being, I guess, a little bit more kind of hopeful.
Yes, for sure.
Isn't there a line where she's like, more hopeful and more like, maybe not like utopian, but she's like Mikasa, Sukasa, and all this kind of like inclusive type of language that is a lot more positive than what we're hearing elsewhere in the album.
Yeah, for sure. I think even though the songs get progressively more like death orientated, it feels like she does get to a point where it's not that. I don't think the death bothers her per se. I don't think that's what it is. I think it's more that I think earlier on the album, if anything, you can tell the death is bothering her and it's making her, it's inhibiting her from progressing. Where it feels like now she's aware that death is just a thing that happens. But, I'm going to, like, she's kind of decided, no, I'm going to live forever. Bullet on my time, but I'm going to live forever. Like, whereas before she's saying, Noname quit the drugs, Noname quit the weed. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she's, she's kind of stuck in this rut. So, no, I think, I get what you mean, but I think it's more done in a hopeful sense, even though the production gets a lot darker. Let's go to the darkest song on the album, which, funny enough, when I was looking this up, it's second to Diddy Bop in streams on this project, which is Shadow Man, the longest song on the project as well, the outro. This for me is probably my favorite song on this project. Like, not by a lot, but like it's up there. Like, this song, it was, I think it was Reality Check when I initially heard this project, but this song is absolutely incredible. Is not the wrong word. This song's incredible. Like, this is when I think we all decided we need that album between Noname, Saba, and Smino, because what the fuck, man? Like, just the way they're all kind of like reflecting on what they would want to see when they die, or how they'd want that to be. And they're just doing it with so much comfort. I think that's the thing about Telefone. It's so comfortable with death. And I'm not saying I like it, like, but there's something interesting about that when you kind of like, it's like a horror film, isn't it? Like, there's death gonna be around, but it doesn't really, like, you want to see it. And I think that's what this album gives me. It's like, they're always talking about death, but they're doing it in such an interesting way. It's intriguing. I want to hear more about. Yeah, tell me more about what you think. What's gonna happen when you die? Do you know what I mean? Like,
who's reading the eulogy?
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Or play Metro Boomin at my funeral. Like the way they do it, it's just so clever. I mean, gosh, it's hard to determine who had the best verse on this one, to be honest.
Let's start with No Names though.
Yeah,
I mean, like I kind of mentioned the Kanye line, where she's like, when I die, there's 27 rappers at my funeral. Moses wrote the name in gold and Kanye did the eulogy. And then 2 lines later, she's like, here I stand in front of a college dropout. That's quite nice.
She said something at the start where she's like, the way she came on this song, where she's like,
Dance in the Dark, was that it?
Resurrected. Shadow Man, Shadow Box, Dance in the Dark with me. This resurrected agony, this apathy for caskets. Everything I ever loved, I lost in the magic. Oh my God. It's like, again, I think, like you said, a lot of like church undertone, especially in this song, throughout this whole song. When she's kind of talking about her influences, like Moses wrote my name in gold and Kanye did the eulogy.
Yeah.
And then at the end saying, my funeral a Disney fable because the king about to take me home. It's like, damn, man. Like, there's just something about this song, man. That's what I'm gonna say. Like, it's a great song, like great song.
Yeah.
But let's go to Saba's verse. Saba was definitely trying to pay rent on this one. I mean, it's true.
Where should we go? I mean, if you think No Name's talking about God and religion, he kind of takes it up a notch.
The Preach Church Tabernacle,
Tallahassee Sunshine, and then he's kind
of. What
of.
does that actually mean? Because actually, I'm not a Christian, so I actually don't know what he's referring to in that one.
Well, the tabernacle is like the, when like the, when the Israelites are, the tabernacle, is that kind of like where like God's supposed to exist when like the Israelites were wandering in the desert? I think the tabernacle was like where God would be like on the move with them, and then they'd stop and they'd set it up. I think that's what it is.
Okay.
If there's a church expert listening, let me know.
Fair enough. But yeah, now continue.
Yeah. Yes, I'm right. It's Hebrew for dwelling. So yeah, it was where they would like set up a tent, and then they would have kind of this like ornate kind of like gold box or whatever inside, and that would be where like God would be continually moving with them. So wherever they set up the tent, that's where they would stop.
Okay, fair.
Yeah. Sorry, where was I?
He had a line where he said like, funeral home looking like a home I used to live in. You wasn't supposed to go so soon. I took it for granted. I mean, gosh, yeah. And even referencing Kendrick Lamar with a Viva La Morte, Mortal Man, more like Mortician. We meet our fate. Fucking hell, man. Fuck it, like.
Where did this come from? Like, what was going on when the three of them were standing in this room? Literally.
And then you also got Smino. Smino has actually said, I think he said it on Sway in the Morning when I listened ages ago. He said he thinks this is the best verse he's ever written in his life.
Yeah.
And I agree. When I first heard, this is my introduction to Smino. So this is before like Black Swan and all the other projects. I thought, oh my gosh, this Smino guy is fucking sick. Like, oh my gosh, I'm definitely gonna look. I'm not saying he's not good in it, but he definitely peaked on this verse. I'm sorry. Like, when he's talking about
go on.
When he said, I'm feeling a feline who mindset a fiend, I got 2 packs for.
Yeah.
What is going on in these studio sessions? What is going on, mate? Sorry, continue.
No, there's just all those lines. I mean, he's like sticky dro in a tight roll, cleaning my grievances. As a little heathen, I sat pledge allegiance out. Never believed in this system. Yeah.
Oh, man. I obviously tell him play Metro Boomin at my funeral. That's just a fun line. Everyone loves that line. Yeah. That's an amazing line. But yeah, and on the hook, shout out to theMIND on this whole project. I think it's a good one to pivot on.
Absolutely.
But how him, Felix, and Cam Ovi come together for that hook. Such a beautiful, beautiful hook on this one. And the instrumentals to close it off. And yeah. This song does a lot for me, man. I'm not gonna lie. It's one of those like proper hard hitting songs, and it's 5 minutes long as well. Like, tip on how to do long songs.
Yeah.
But anyways.
And obviously the Nightingale is like the kind of symbol of like death, isn't it? For those that have died. I think so, yeah.
Okay, fair. Yeah. But yeah, no. Seriously, like proper like deep immortality on this one. Like most of the second half of this project. I feel like we like the death side. I think you can tell with both of us. So let's just go.
It's the ability to like
yeah,
embrace it and flip it around and be like, I know that death is like death in our community here in Chicago is an awful thing, and it's a result of a lot of kind of like whether it's poverty or like racial injustice, things like this. But we're going to take it and talk about it in a way and kind of like give our own narrative to it, and rather than just like let it be happening like passively. No, for sure. And I think that's why it's just incredible the ways that they managed to talk about it.
Yeah, no, for sure, I agree. Like, I think you can. There's so much that can be like understood through music, and I think you just get that pure understanding that they're just not. And it's kind of fucked up. It's kind of like when we're talking about the Vince Staples record, but it feels like where Vince Staples, like, he's so comfortable of like the gang life to the point where he feels like he's jaded from it. Like, do you know what I mean? You can really get that from the music. It feels like death is so like occurrent in where they are in Chicago. It's not even a thing to talk about it in this way. Yeah. And I think that's what makes it so like what the hell? Like, do you know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, like where we are in London, it's not like London's like fine, but the way they talk about it, I don't think I'll ever be able to talk about it. It's not like they're getting passionate. It's not like they're getting worked up or anything like that. They seem very calm, like talking about a lot of these serious things, whether it's like how their funeral's gonna go, abortion or anything like that. And I think that's what is striking to the second half of the project for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
But yeah, no, let's flip straight away. So let's go to the brighter side, right? So like you said, Sunny Duet was one of the first songs you heard. What are your thoughts on this? Why did it hook you in so much?
Where do we start? I think so. Who was?
Was it Diddy Bop? Was it Diddy Bop?
I think I said Diddy Bop was the first one.
Yeah, sorry, it was Diddy Bop. Sorry, go. Sorry.
No, you confused me then. I was like, what's it?
Yeah, no, sorry, go. There was careful with Diddy Bop.
No, yeah, Diddy Bop. Obviously, I mean, everyone probably know reference to like the P Diddy dance, but like the song as a whole, like throwback to like the 90s, to kind of like when she grew up. The way I thought of it, like a modern version of this song, was like 101 FM.
Yeah, that's a good comparison, actually. That's a really good comparison.
Which is like, again, another like throwback to childhood 90s, like the imagery of friends playing out, being kids. Like, I can't remember, there's some line about like a 90s game. What's the line? From on 101 FM. I'm
not gonna remember that, but I know
yeah,
what you're talking
about. So yeah, I just love the song. Like, there's a lot of nostalgia, especially throughout the album, in terms of like production and the sounds. It's not a modern sounding like album in terms of like production. So this song definitely like takes it back. I think one of the first things I really liked about the song was Raury, however you want to pronounce his name. Because when I heard, I think I went straight from this and listened to his 2015 album, All We Need. And I was like, man, this guy's going to be the next big thing. He hasn't been, but he's good. I really like him on this. He's very like, he loves all like kind of celestial, like...
Wait, wasn't he on the fucking Double XL?
Yes, he was, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. What was I looking for?
Yeah. So yeah, he's like, what is it? I am not a star, I'm a meteor on a crash course towards Earth across the cosmos. But yeah, a lot of like
his
nice alliteration.
Is absolutely crazy on this.
Yeah, a lot of cool alliteration on here. Yeah. But yeah, I do recommend his album actually. All We Need. There's a great song, Forbidden Knowledge is a great song. I think he even has like Big Crit on his album as well.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, great song. Just very like 90s.
Yeah, it's her most popular track on the project as well, actually. Which surprises me. I mean, I definitely do not dislike Dizzy Bop. I think it's the part where she's like, ooh, you about to get your ass beat. I think that's the thing that people liking it, and I get it. It's funny, and I think the comparison to 101 FM is perfect. I didn't think about that at all, but yeah, like because the thing about 101 FM, it's like, you know, she's reminiscing, you know, back when me and Avelino used to make tracks, and she's talking about her friend who went to jail and all that stuff. And she, again, you can tell, I think this when I said this album feels like you're just someone living in the neighborhood. And when she's talking about, you know, yeah, you're gonna get beaten by your mum, but like you can tell the care that the parents have. Like you don't need to steal that money, just ask me. Like, do you know what I mean? When the lights was off, you had to stay with cousins. It's like mama said come home before the street lights do. It's like that. It's like you already get that allusion to. Oh, damn shit! Like, what does that even mean? Talking about her K-Swisses, her Fubu's,
BTK in the stereo.
Yeah, like it's just sweet. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just a sweet song, and yeah, you do get that feeling like, oh yeah, so much nostalgia. Yeah, that Raury verse is like, I mean, you know what's funny? I think I did a karaoke for this song like a couple of months back. This is not an easy verse to do karaoke to, I'll tell you that. It's not easy. He's talking a lot of stuff.
We need to find that footage next week on Final Collective Exposed.
Oh, God forbid, mate. God forbid. But no, like he kills it, like so good. But I don't know if I felt super compelled to listen to a project from him, but I did think it was cool. Like he didn't ruin the song. I did think he was a bit abstract at the start.
Yeah, sure, that's him though. That's him all over.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I was a bit too abstract, but I don't think he ruined it. So I was like, okay, cool, it's fair. Like, I don't mind it. I don't mind it. There's no bad feature on this project though. I'll say that there's not a bad one for sure. But yeah, no, let's go. Okay, now let's go to Sunny Duet, right? Because this is a sweet ass song. Like when I hear this song, right, I literally think of like two kids like sneaking off from the back of church to kind of like embrace their love in a way. When she says like what's it called? I got my candy cane. My name is Heather Pittman too. We could watch a player move, or we could call this ice cream on my Sunday sweater.
It's
That's
sweet.
Funny. That is sweet, but not that far. The ice cream on my Sunday sweater. Ice cream. That is really funny. But yeah, you can tell like there's a like a sweet little interaction where like Noname wants this guy to kind of like take him more seriously in a sense. And obviously theMIND is playing the other guy. And that's such and that little like I guess pre-chorus.
Yeah.
So good. So good. He does that really well. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, no, probably good song.
Sweet song. I had a thing you'd like the line where it's like holy water avatar, blue like the tears when I left you.
That's a good line.
Yeah. Just a lovely song. Sweet. To listen
just a lovely song.
Yeah. theMIND again doing his thing.
Yeah, he did his thing on a lot of these things.
There are a lot of references throughout the album to like Janet Jackson. There's another one in this, I think, on the third verse.
Yeah.
Janet Jackson and Nina Simone. Free publicity in here. Yeah.
I think Nina Simone's probably a massive influence. I've always said, right? So here's the thing with influence, right? So you can naively look at someone and be like, oh, I like the things they do well, so I'm gonna try and emulate that and just leave out all the discarded parts. So yeah, you know what? My dad's a hardworking man, but he's a cunt. So I'm gonna just take the hardworking part and not be a cunt. But I think what people forget is like sometimes when you take all benefits come with drawbacks. Like for example, I saw a tweet, right, that said like, oh, I hate really arrogant people. I was like, you should never meet Beyonce then. She's definitely gonna be arrogant as fuck. I'll tell you that for free. Like there's no one who is as hardworking as Beyonce or Michael Jordan, all these people who do not come with arrogance. Because when you work so hard, you realize how fucking little most people don't work. Do you know what I mean?
Never meet your heroes.
Never meet your heroes, right? And I think with Nina Simone, I think Noname looked at the things she liked about Nina Simone, and you can always tell these people always become like some sort of like caricature of the people they like, and you can see the way Noname's career is going right now, and it does feel very much like Nina Simone. I'm not gonna lie, it does feel very much not to that extremity, because I don't think Noname has any like mental health issues, but like you can tell like the things that weigh so much, and she feels like she has so much to say, and I think it's clear in this one. Like, I think it's very clear the Nina Simone influence here in terms of like just kind of talking about things that aren't really talked about in the whole song. For sure. It's a little tangent for me. We'll continue.
No. I don't have too much else to add here.
Any other songs you want to talk? I mean, we have
briefly. All I Need.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. I like the.
Is it because of Xavier Omar? Go on. I know you've got it in for him.
I actually don't. So here's the thing. Here's what I've written down, right? But here's what I think. I really like him on this one. Proper. Like, I think he does the verse and chorus good justice. I think the song was a lot better when the sample was in there. It's not on the Spotify version. I think it's just a funny. I think it's like from a Vine or something like that. If you go on SoundCloud, the full version of Telefone is there, so you can listen to it at any point because it's a free record, anyways. But yeah, I think it's just funny when it's one of the first songs she made for this, and it was like maybe I'm gonna miss you after Awesome, and all of the phone callers and ringer when singers hitting my teddy and teddy paging my beaver. It's like just kind of like understanding the kind of. Understanding, like, if I get famous from all of this, I understand what's gonna happen. Like, I'm gonna, lose a lot of my friends, or I'm gonna not be as available. And I think, again, connecting to Reality Check, I mean, you can tell that was a huge concern for Noname when pursuing this like music thing. Yeah, and I think, do you know what I mean? I think that's why All I Need Reality Check. I think All I Need is, I'll say, probably my least favorite. That doesn't mean it's a bad song. I think EXO does really well on this one, very well on this one. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, very abstract as well. When she's talking about like bars though, when she's talking about like the amount of time she'd have to meet like a partner, when she said the matrimony catalyst for secondary, I was like, damn. And she's talking about like, talking about here's who I am, right? Like I'm unorthodox with the Doc Martens and
that's one of my favourite lines from it. Absolutely. Yeah, was it Get to Know Me in Chicago, How I Go Where You Stay, Unorthodox Paradox in a Paradox. With an oversight to a Mary Clock.
The internal rhymes are absolutely crazy. Like, Noname's a rapper, man. Proper rapper.
I like the earlier on there's like the refrain where she's like, this is for my homies say love. And people are Mos Def fans. There's a song called
my Umi said Shining Light in the World.
I love that album. People need to check
Shout out to Israel. He always tweets that. I know he loves that fucking song. Continue.
It's that, I think that, and that's from Black on Both Sides, isn't it? Check it out. I
think I mean,
I like the little J Electronica reference, given what we've already said.
Oh yeah, fair. I think she knew it as well.
But yeah,
I think it's obviously. I think the last song we haven't talked about, which is kind of perfect to close this song. 'Cause I think this song kind of encapsulates the entire record. There's obviously Reality Check. Obviously another one of our artist spotlights, Eryn and Kane is on this. Another girl called Akenya. So Eryn and Kane wrote this hook the Friday before Telefone dropped.
I heard about this.
Same with Akenya. Both of them wrote their verses or whatever the Friday before Telefone dropped. That is mad, because I cannot imagine a song without them. Like, it just wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be the same. But man, I think this is some of Noname's best verses, probably period. When she's like, basically,
if you say the line that I've got written down,
like, basically, when she's talking about the first verse, when she's talking about like basically using the metaphor of like being in the cafe shop and that being like her place of like being stagnant. When she said Jesus made an album whilst I'm waiting in the line for cream, it's like, damn, like, do you know what I mean? She's realizing like that so many people are off doing their thing, like, and I'm here because, what's called, my aunt was fighting cancer. When she's like, the doorbell was only broken because my aunt was fighting cancer. Or talking about, she lives in Technicolor but lives black and white. Like, I think of all these things I want to do, but real life is kind of bland, isn't it? Like, just talking about, like, a nigga got her nails done. Like, she's got more, not useless things, but like things that aren't important that she's trying to focus on. Like, can I get my 2 sugars, please? Where it's like, no, but you want to do this music thing. Like, what is the hold up? Do you know what I mean? And I think that's why I feel like, especially Akenya's verse works so much, because she kind of calls on to what Noname's saying. Like, when that call comes, you better say hello. Like, don't let this one go. Like, what line was you going to say on this one?
Oh no, just in terms of like her vocabulary. It's verse 2, she's like, mysterious aberration illuminated the trap. My telephone collocation is synonymous with the sunrise. mountain against the foreground forever coming. Yeah. She's mad.
Yeah. Incredible rapping on this one. Incredible, honestly. Yeah. I don't know actually. I think this is why this is like a debut to be excited about, because stuff like this you don't normally get from the debut. Do you know what I mean? I think that's why, like, I think it's worthwhile talking about stuff like this, because I know a lot of people think it. I don't think it. I know you don't think it, John. Even if, for example, the reason why no one's going to say LeBron James is going to win the NBA championship in his first fucking year, it's not because he's not talented. It's because he's never played the NBA before. It's a whole different environment. So when people come out with their first projects, even if they have nice little singles or verses like A Millions, you can't really gauge them until they've actually had to, you know, have the focal point on them for like more than half an hour or so. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think with this, it's like, the fact, that's the thing, if Noname came out with something that wasn't even as good as this, it's not like it'd be a disappointment. That's what I'm saying. So if someone actually does become Rookie of the Year, or they win their NBA ring like their first year, that's an overperformance no matter how good you are, because it's just not expected. And I think this project is an overperformance, because it's like you're coming out with these clean beats, amazing verses, perfect features, consistent themes. Like, it's all coming out in just one, like, this is your first one. It's like, oh, like, the only project I can think of, we're talking mixtapes, that's close to this is 1999, and I would arguably say this is probably better. And that's a big thing for me to say, but I would arguably say this is better. Like, I feel this is probably the best mixtape.
So it's a
this
statement.
Is Friday Night Lights.
I don't think I'd disagree. I mean, the Joey Badass one is incredible, but in terms of like being just like born ready, like this album literally has everything. And the thing is, like, she basically, I mean, like Room 25 and all of that, but like she's at a peak here, right?
Yeah,
you can argue.
Fair. Yeah, no, you can argue that. Fair enough.
Yeah,
yeah, fair. But yeah, no, Reality Check banger. Yeah, just the way it ended was so good. Like, you better say hello. No, why me deep down below, like all that stuff. Like, yeah, it's such a good song. It's very inspirational. Like, it's very much like, motivate. Like, yeah, I think a proper good way to kind of end out that first half of, like, you know, kind of ruminating about the past and death and all of that. And it's like, okay, let's snap out of it. Let's make this happen. Do you know what I mean? I think it encapsulates the whole thing. I'm surprised, but funny enough, it's not the most popular song on the record. I'm surprised, because this was definitely one of my popular songs, and it feels like it's one of the most accessible. Yeah, but yeah,
I guess in the way that, like, Diddy Bop's quite an accessible song, isn't it?
I'm surprised by that. I'm not gonna lie,
and I mean,
especially because
if you look at the flip side, like, or the comparison song, like 101 FM was a single, like way before anything else from the album, like Grey Area. That was the first single.
That's fair. That's a fair point there.
So I don't know. I guess it's like a good entry point into the album.
Yeah, fair. No, I get you. Cool. Also, the song just wasn't ready at the time, so fair enough. Yeah, cool. Continue.
No. That's my point. Yeah. But yeah, I feel like at this point in the album reviews, we usually make a couple of wild statements. So
yeah, you're gonna hear us with one. Okay, go ahead.
Well, no, I mean, like, the kind of things you said already, I 100% agree with. Like, it's one of the best albums, not just of that year, but like in terms of artist debuts, it's for sure one of the best of the decade.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's why it sucks saying mixtape, but no one actually calls this a mixtape. No. When you go top albums 2016, almost everyone has this on their albums, like straight off. Like, and what I love her so much for doing is not having Chance the Rapper on this. Just don't have any of that bullshit.
It makes so much sense.
It makes so much sense not having him here, because it's like, okay, I'm having my intro to the game. I don't want to be shadowed by, Chance the Rapper's on this first, because that, even to this day, I feel so sorry for him. Even till this day, when Schoolboy Q drops an album, people ask him, is Kendrick going to be on it? This guy's been rapping for how long?
Leave him the fuck alone.
He's a legend. He's actually a legend. He doesn't need Kendrick to on every fucking album, man. You don't stop doing that. But yeah, I feel like Noname just fucking, I'm not gonna have that. Like, she just said, I want to make this project with my friends. And you can tell, that there's so much, it doesn't seem like anything's forced. It seems super genuine as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think the fact that 2016 was already a super competitive year, and this is like most people's top 5, top 3, top 1 for most people. Like, what's really beating it? Okay, you got Tribe. Okay, fair enough. Untitled or Mastered. After that, I mean, do you know what I mean? Even Untitled or Mastered, it's a toss up. Do you know what I mean? So the fact that this kind of sits on top of already probably one of the best years we've had of that decade, it's like, okay, I got to kind of give it special treatment. I am going to give it special treatment. Do you know what I mean? I think it's definitely one of the most unique records of this decade, and definitely one of the most enjoyable. Still hasn't gone old.
And it's one I go back to. Like, it's one everybody goes back to, I think.
Yeah, especially this time of year, like summery weather. Like, even that's what I'm saying. The lyricism is so like deceiving, because it feels like summer, but it's not really. It is summer because maybe a lot of people do say like most deaths happen in summer, innit? Like a lot of rappers always say they hate when summer comes around, and but there's something to this. Like, there's like a certain magic to this that you just can't ignore it. Whether it was an EP, whether it was an album or not, you wasn't gonna ignore this project. And she didn't really have a big name behind her before this, and this kind of just skyrocketed her to like another stratosphere, and I think deservedly so. I think that's because of the music. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, no, I'm not taking my comment back. Like, in terms of decade, this is definitely one of the projects of the decade. So I think someone even said it's one of their favorite projects of all time, and I'm not saying I 100% on that, but I can see why, because it's so standout. Like, there's nothing like it.
But yeah, it's so singular.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you haven't checked this out, I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone's listening to Telephone, but boy, come on, like, you gotta give it its flowers. Like, probably will. I don't know if people. Do you think people call this one a classic?
I would
as well.
I would call it a classic. I'm ready to fight if someone says no.
I think if you look back to our episode of what defines a classic, I mean, there's no bad songs. I think, especially in a year where I know we've been talking for a long time. I mean, what was it, an hour and a half or so? It doesn't really matter. Fuck it, it's our show. But I think if you look back at 2015, right, To Pimp a Butterfly dropped. There was huge tension in America because of, like, you know, Black Lives Matter becoming a big movement. I think someone even made an infographic that a lot of the albums that are coming out in 2015 were black and white. Like, everyone's kind of in that bag. And then you get to 2016, everyone's going back to color, and it feels like, okay, after a while of like, even albums like 90059 in 2015, right? Everyone's, you know, a lot more deeper, quote unquote, introspective and more political. Yeah. And you get something like this in 2016, where it's still kind of political, but people are coming out of that, and this is like completely just shifting it.
And the production disarms you.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? It's just like, it feels like a recalibration, and I feel like people needed something like this in that year. Obviously, Colour and Brook was along that line as well, but I feel like people need something like this.
Yeah, like, hey, we're not. The conversation isn't over. Like, we haven't. Nothing's changed, but we're still. Yeah, we're kind of like talking about it in a different way, or presenting it in a different.
And just giving music that people can actually enjoy listening to, instead of thinking, you know, fuck the police. I mean, because you don't. That's quite heavy to always have. And I think she also wanted to have that substance, but she also wanted easy to listen to songs. I think she struck that balance perfectly. Yeah. To be fair, but yeah, I'll say it's a classic for sure. I think people might not like Noname now, but people will talk about Telephone for years to come. I'll be surprised if they don't, to be honest. So yeah. I'll give it that, to be honest.
Agreed.
Shout out to Noname on this one. To be honest, shout out to Noname.
Yeah, that kind of wraps us up with the review. As you said earlier, you know, if you like this episode, share with a friend. You can find us obviously on Instagram at Vinyl Collective Pod, on Twitter at TVC Pod. Wherever you're streaming this, you'll also be able to find it on all of the other streaming platforms. Kind of leads us on to the last bit of every week, where we have a bit of a throwback song and a song from the last couple of years. You can find all of these selections obviously on our Now and Then playlist, which I'm thinking when we get to 200 songs, we go for Now and Then Part 2, but that's still TBC. But yeah, I'll start us off. My Now song it's a strange pick for me, but Story of OJ by YBNBA. Young Boy Never Broke Again. Story of OJ. I think he spits on this. I mean,
he's not bad. He's not bad.
This song though, this song.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll give him this one. Yeah, obviously uses the same sample from Jay-Z's 444. And yeah, he goes in. My Then song. I think this is the first John Legend song we have on there. Used to Love You.
Okay.
My brother used to have this album when I was, I can't remember how old I was, maybe like 10 or 11. And I mean, there wasn't a huge amount of music in my house growing up. My brother loved John Legend. He used to listen to him a lot.
Random. Fair enough.
Sorry?
Fair enough. That's random.
Go on.
Fair enough. No, John Legend just being the artist you would have on like wax. Like, yeah, fucking need to get that John Legend project.
Oh,
like,
mate, back in the day.
Yeah, no, back in the day
John
he was
Legend,
popping.
2005. That was...
Yeah, no, he was popping.
When him and Kanye were on the top of their game.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, those are my two. What have you got for us?
My now song is Taking Trips by Vince Staples. Oh, that album just keeps scrubbing.
Yeah.
Oh, love that beat. Oh my gosh, yeah. Love this album, man. Oh, I love a great. That's what you gotta let it simmer sometimes. But yeah, proper like it. My then song, it's just an old song. It's a fucking old song, but I think it's on topic with what we're talking about now. I Loved You, Porgy by Nina Simone.
I think that might be the oldest song we have on here.
Yeah, that probably is. I'm not gonna lie, that song, what, 50s?
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah. So old song, but yeah, I think it fits. She's singing on that one. Oh man, unique voice, that woman. But I thought, let me add a bit of variation there, yeah, as John said, check us out on the Now and Then playlist, and as we mentioned before, check us out on the Vinyl Collector Pod on Instagram, TBC Pod on Twitter. Yeah, if you got any questions, run for your own question. You can ask us anything really. Not really specific.
We don't shy away.
Yeah, we don't shy away. You can ask about Telefone. You can ask about anything else really. Send us an email, vinylcollectorpod@gmail.com. Might just read it out on the show. Yeah, that's it for us. We'll see you guys next week, where again, yes, you've seen we've done our little promo. We'll be doing The People versus TVC Part 2. See how that one goes. So
thanks for tuning in.
Cool.